All right, everyone. Hello. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Next Media Source. This is episode 3. I'm your host, Tyra Green, and I have here my lovely guest,
Hi, I'm Persephone.
and she'll be talking about all things real estate coming from South Florida. But before we jump into it, we'll be talking about how we met. So, for Stephanie, tell them how we met.
So I met Tyra at like a model casting that I was doing for my friend. She asked me to go with her, and Tyra was one of the models there. We were like auditioning for a runway show, and that's kind of how me and Tyra met each other. We got each other's social media numbers and things like that, and we've kind of kept up with each other since online. I think at the time, I don't think I knew that you were from Atlanta. And then I think you told me when you was like, oh yeah, like I went back home.
Yeah. And it's good to see like how everything came full circle. Some of the models, they're not just modeling anymore. They're business owners, clothing designers, getting into real estate, going back to school. So it's good to see everybody evolving and showing more than one skill set. So just wanted to tap into that, just let you all know how we met. And so we're going to just get right into it. All right. So Persephone, when did you get your start in your career with real estate?
So I actually started real estate about 3 years ago, back in 2021. That's when I got my license. But the story is a little bit longer than that. So I want to say in about 2020, end of 2018, 2019, I started working for this property management company that had a location here in Miami. And one of the perks of joining their company was that they would pay for my real estate license. So they would go ahead and like comp that cost for me. And that was a real perk for me because I've always been interested in real estate for a while. And so to hear that they would just pay for the class and everything, that was really one of the bargaining factors when it came to me joining their team. So I was with the company for a while, and then after COVID was when I decided, like, a lot of things are never promised. You never know what's going to happen. It's good to have more than one stream of income. And so I went ahead and got my real estate license. And I've been licensed ever since 2021. And I've been doing property management for the last 5 years.
Wow. So you just kind of dive right into it. It kind of was a good segue into what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, being that you've had 3 years experience as a Florida realtor and 5 years experience in property management, was this something you always wanted to do, or was it just more so presented right in front of you and then you jumped in?
I would say that real estate has always been something I've been interested in ever since high school. Even if it wasn't just like me being a real estate agent per se, I've always been interested in the real estate industry. Since I was younger, a lot of my friends could tell you that I've always wanted to own my own investment property in terms of like having a duplex or a triplex and being able to rent out those units and possibly stay on one end just to be able to have some additional residual income coming in. So that's been something that I've been interested in for a while, and I'm going to reach that goal within the next few years.
Awesome. Okay. And so you reside in South Florida. What do you like most about your city?
I would say me living in South Florida, specifically in Miami, but also not limiting it to, the other parts of South Florida like Broward, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, like just being in South Florida in general, I would say it's just a melting pot of culture. There's a lot of people here from the Caribbean, and it's good because you're not always just stuck in one mindset. You get to meet people from all walks of life. So they could be from Cuba, they could be from Puerto Rico, they could be from Jamaica, they could be from Bahamas, from anywhere. And I just love that we have so many cultures here, so many backgrounds. You never know who you're going to meet, and you get to know like their life story on top of also like we just always have something going on here, like in Miami and Florida in general. There's always things going on. We always have so many festivals and events, and I just love being a part of a big city that never sleeps.
I definitely agree with that. I miss my Miami days. I try not to think about it every time I see a palm tree. Just living there over the years, going to Barry University, just brings back so many memories. And I just have a feeling if I go back, I'm gonna stay too long, and then it's
Oh,
gonna be a continuous thing. But South Florida will always have my heart. But you're definitely right about the cultures. It's never a dull moment, especially down on South Beach. And then when you get into um, just different things that the city has to offer, it's a huge melting pot. I loved it.
yes.
So I'm all about diversity, and I definitely agree. I love South Florida. So, okay. How has your real estate industry shaped your life?
I would say that the real estate industry has shaped my life because, in a way, because it's like shown me different aspects of things. I know a lot of times when you're on the outside looking in terms of like as a consumer, you may not understand why things are the way that they are or how the industry may work, but being on the opposite end, in real estate and in property management, it has definitely shown me, okay, like there's actual like different rules and different regulations that you have to follow, and there's different tips and tricks that you can use to beat the system in order to make sure that you are a homeowner, in order to make sure that you get that low interest rate and things like that. Those are kind of like things that they don't really teach you when you are in school, like in high school and things like that, is what is a mortgage, how does that work, how can I make sure that my credit is good so I could become a homeowner and things like that. So I would say it has definitely opened my eyes in teaching me, there are different ways that you can make money in terms of like the real estate industry itself.
I agree with you. I definitely feel like that should be implemented more into high school, financial literacy. I didn't start really hearing that word until I was in college when I was taking a finance class, and I was just like,
Right.
what is this? And then learning all of that, the lecture, and then going to the test, I'm just like the concept, like I'm just like, I need to take another class because it was just so much information. And you feel like when you're in college, you're a little bit prepared, but it's not until you start looking at your student loans, because that's like the first big loan.
Right.
And then years later, it's just you're living now. You have a car note, you have all of these different factors, and you're wanting a house, you're wanting to be a first time homeowner. So it's a lot of factors that I feel like high school students could definitely benefit from that.
Yes.
So we'll get more into the interest rate information and questions in just a second, but we're gonna play a game real quick. So this game is called This or That. So the first question is, if you could travel on an all expense paid trip with a guest, where would you go? Would it be Cancun, Mexico, or Dubai?
Ooh. First, I want to say I've already been to Cancun, so
Oh,
so we're gonna go to Dubai. I haven't been to Dubai yet, and if it was since it's all expense paid, I probably would take my mom because my
okay.
mom, even though I am the adventurer and I'm the traveler, my mom still has yet to go out of the country. So I would love to take her on an all expense paid trip to Dubai and just like show her the good life and what it's like to travel and like meet all these different people and see what the culture is on the other side of the world. I would love to have her experience that with me and do like a mother-daughter trip.
That would be nice. I was actually talking to my mom about that the other day because I kind of have my summer planned out. And I was like, Mom, we need to do a mother daughter trip. And she's like, this summer. So I'm like looking at my calendar, like, how am I going to fit this in? But I mean, those experiences going overseas, I would love to say that I can relate. I haven't been yet. I just recently renewed my passport. So
Oh, good.
I'm just like, I have like a quote unquote bucket list, but I would love to go to Cancun or Dubai,
Where's the
especially Dubai.
Where's the first place
So,
you want to go?
well,
That
I'm
you
typical. I want to go to Paris. So that would probably be like how to break me in. Like, okay, I've been to the
Yeah.
the, the place where everybody wants to go. Um, so that would be the first place. And I would say the next place would be Tokyo, Japan. I just think their fashion is so cool, like how they can just put
Yes.
things together. And I just want to, taste the food and just see what it's like on a day-to-day basis. They drive on a different side of the street, and it's just little stuff here that's like, we drive on the same side of the street. It's opposite there. So it's just little things that I would just be intrigued by that other people would just be like, that's not all that important. But yeah, so I got a little list too. So speaking of traveling, you mentioned that you're an avid traveler, having traveled to 8 countries, 10 states, and 2 continents. Tell me about that. Like, how did you get that that interest to just be able to just go? I'm not there yet. Like, how did you get that? How did you get
I
there?
feel like I've always been interested in just like traveling and seeing the world. So I grew up as my mom's only child. So I always, I read a lot, I watched a lot of TV, and when you watch movies and stuff, people are always all over the world. You see like different things, whether it's like, oh, you're watching like Tarzan as a kid, or you're watching like Beauty and the Beast or something like that. You see that they're in like different environments than the one that we're growing up in. And so I've always just been interested in just like seeing the world and seeing like what else is out there, like the way that we live here can't be the way that everybody lives everywhere, and being able to like see different cultures and experience different things. Like I remember I seen the movie like Mamma Mia when they were like in Greece, and I was like, wow, like I can't believe like there's a place that looks that beautiful out there. And I was like, one day I'm gonna go to Greece. And last year I went to Greece for my birthday, so
Wow.
I got to experience that a little bit. And I've just always been I guess like the person in my family that just like wants to just go. Like, let me just go and just explore and see the world and just like see what's out there.
On some of the trips, were they solo trips or you brought someone with you?
I am not uh, brave enough to do a solo trip yet. So it's always been with my one good friend or maybe like a group of 3 or 4 people. So it's always either been 2 of us or 3 or 4 of us on a trip, but I have yet to do a solo trip. I want to, but I'm a little bit apprehensive about that as well.
Yeah, I think right now sticking with family, I'll start with that and then
Hmm.
but I actually don't know where I would go for a solo trip. I would have to have all my bases covered something. So
Yeah.
wow. So definitely keep traveling. There's definitely good benefits to traveling. It opens your mind up to a whole nother world. You're able to connect with other people, and it's traveling is beautiful. I definitely love it. So that's something I enjoy in my free time as well. All right. So we're gonna jump back into it, and so I have a few questions for you. Um, as far as mortgage interest rates, when it's high or low, is there a such thing as the perfect time or the right time to look for a home for those that want to be a first time homeowner? And I'm asking because from what I've always been told, it's like a good time, like springtime to start looking, summertime. Is that accurate or does it just depend on the person? How does that work?
In my experience, I would say it depends on the person because everybody's situation is a little different. Sometimes, some people, it may not matter if the interest rate is high or low because they have, the perfect credit and they have like, oh, I have 60 or $80,000 in savings. So what may be the perfect time for someone may be not the perfect. And it just depends. I would say right now it is a great time because the interest rate have finally dropped. Last year, a few months ago, it was around 8%, like the high 8%. Now it's the low 6%, like 6.2. And I think for the FHA, it's about 5% now. So it just depends on the person. If you feel like your credit is in a great place, your credit is average to good. And then also if you have your savings, if you have, your savings, sometimes when it comes to the credit, you can be okay with a few less points because your savings is so high. So, you're still going to get a good deal.
Okay, that was my next question. Someone seeking a home for the first time, how big of a deal is it to have good credit? Is there like a defining number
Hmm.
of, okay, you have excellent credit so we can move forward? I'm pretty sure that there's
Hmm.
different scenarios like, okay, you're fair, you're decent, this is good. So does it just, like you
Yes.
said, depend on
It
a
does
number
depend
of
on a number of
factors
factors,
into,
but I would say
okay,
for, I guess, like the average person, or average person like me or you, it's good to have the better the credit, the better your mortgage your mortgage loan rate will be. So if you have a higher credit, then you may get a better rate. The lower your credit, the higher your rate may be, because they may feel like it's a little bit more of a liability. So it is good to try to get your credit as high as you can, but also keep in mind
Okay.
that we do have a lot of first-time home buyer programs here in Miami-Dade, as well as Broward, and all across the U.S. Every county has their own list of different programs and grants that they can offer to you, even if you already have a home. I know here in Florida, they have something where even though you are already a homeowner, they have a grant and a program where they'll give you money to fix the repairs on your home. So if you have like, a lot of repairs that may need to be done, they may can give you some money to help you along with that.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that was my next question, talking about different programs and grants out there to help first time home buyers. With those programs, do any of them cover like the full
Some of them
down
do.
payment or partial
They
or
may cover like a percentage of your down payment, and then they may just come out as a loan. So you'll pay that on the back end when you're, as well as when you're paying your mortgage. But they'll make it affordable to where you can afford to pay them both.
gotcha. Okay. And what about closing costs? Is the first time home buyer, are they on their own with that, or is it like you said in general, just having a savings, having some money saved up,
Yeah, I would
going
say
throughout the
definitely
process?
some savings. And even there are some development communities that if you buy a home, they may take off a discounted price on your closing costs. I have a client right now, he's about to close on his home in this up and coming week, and they've waived the closing costs. So he didn't have to pay that, because they're trying to, get people in the homes as soon as possible. So they offer different incentives that they know will get people in the door. So if you have a great real estate agent, that's going to be great for you, because then they can go and look and see, let me figure out if this is the area that he wants to be in. Let me see if anybody has any type of deals or anything going on that may benefit them, especially if you know that your client is someone who is still kind of new to this. They aren't the richest person in the world, but they want to become a homeowner. So you want to try to help them out as much as you can and point them in the right direction.
Great. Okay. So what advice would you give current renters who want to become homeowners in the next year?
I would say
Like, what would be some
definitely
tips?
look at your current finances. If you are currently paying like $2,200 in rent, multiply that by 12 and see how much you're giving to someone else to pay off their home. And I think that'll make a lot of people think about, wow, like I'm giving this person, 20,000, 30,000, whatever dollars when it comes to paying rent per month. I'm sorry, per year, when that could be money that I can put to the side and I can save money and try to get my own home. And then also working on your own credit is something that's good too. If you have if you have a spouse, maybe you guys can start a savings fund for you guys to own a home. And then you can also both work on your credit for the next, year or two, until you guys feel comfortable where you're ready to go ahead and purchase a home.
I think that's great. That kind of covers all the
Hmm.
bases, especially like having a spouse, being able to start saving up and definitely planning. So it sounds like getting the finances in order and just
Yes.
knowing what you're bringing to the table and just preparing. So, okay. All right. So,
Who
who
inspires
inspires
me
you and
and
why?
why? I would say that um, I love to see Black women become successful. And I think that that inspires me because it shows me, like, hey, there's somebody else here. They're doing the same thing that you're doing, or they were once in the same position as you, and look where they are now. So it kind of drives my motivation to know that if they can do it, then I can do it also. And it's not a far-fetched dream for me to, have these big goals and want these things for myself, and I can do it. And as long as I can see that, hey, like there's other people doing it, I can do it too.
So you mentioned
Yes.
wanting to get in real estate dates back to your youth. So with that and talking about who or what inspires you, was it something that you saw or heard that wanted you to get into real estate? Did you come from a
So
family of
no, I
real
didn't come
estate
from a
agents?
family
Talk
of
to me
real
a little bit
estate
about
agents,
that.
but I would say that my grandmother, she has always, I believe she's owned like maybe two or three properties in the past, and she was kind of like the first person, her and my great grandmother, who's no longer with us, but we still have her home, were homeowners, and that was something that was inspiring to me to be able to see that, you know, there are women in my family that own homes, and this is something that can be, you know, that can come true for me as well. So that has been my inspiration as well, is being able to see that there are women in my family achieving these goals, and I can also achieve this goal as well.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to play our last game. This is called The Island. All right. And so the question is, if you were stuck on an island with a friend and you knew you would be rescued the next day, what items would you bring with you to take your
Um,
mind off of being stuck overnight?
what would that
So,
look like? I would
what would that
say,
look
I
like
mean,
for
I
you?
feel like if we're on an island, there can't be Wi-Fi and there can't be no cell service. So I'll probably bring like, I don't know, like some board games or something. Like we could play Uno. We could play Uno till the people come and get us the next day. Yeah.
That's a good game. That's a good game. Okay. That's that it this is a question that really makes you think because I always see this in movies, so I'm always curious to know like what would I do,
Right.
but it's like that's just in movies, that wouldn't happen in real life. But I honestly don't know. I would just I don't even well, for one thing, I
Yeah.
wouldn't sleep because I would be watching my surroundings. I would really be thinking about who I brought with me, if they're really that ride or die, because it's like, look, we in this together, don't leave, you walk off, I'll walk it off too. So it would just be a lot of factors: safety, how long it's going to take. Probably would bring yeah,
Yeah.
board games, some snacks, just yeah, it would woo, I would need counseling after,
PTSD.
like, why did y'all leave us? So it would just be a number of factors. So wow, okay, all right. So we talked about when you first started your career. We talked a little bit about what you like about your city. We talked about what you, who or what inspires you. So, what's next for you
What's
that the
next
viewers
for
can
me,
look
I would
forward to?
say, is so right now for 2024, my goal is to turn 10 renters into homeowners, and then also to help 10 renters find, you know, 10 new rentals for themselves. Another goal for myself that I would want within my career, it doesn't have to be this year, but it can be this year, is that I do want to close on a $1 million listing. That is a big goal, and that's something that I know that I can achieve. So, like I said, doesn't have to be this year, but I want it to happen, you know, very, very soon. Um, and then I do just want to collaborate, meet a lot more Florida realtors, especially like, you know, black realtors, and collaborate with each other, network, and just being able to meet people and put yourself out there, because you never know who you might meet that may recommend you to someone or refer you to someone, and that can be your $1 million listing right there.
That's right. Networking is definitely key. You've already gotten your feet wet. You pretty much knew this is what you wanted to do. From what I'm seeing online, you're doing a great job. I was intrigued. Some of the rental property places looked good. I like the hardwood flooring. I was looking at everything. I was like, "Ooh, that looks good." And I'm just like one that likes the all white Miami. It just reminds me so much of Miami. I'm like, that looks good because the apartments don't look like that over here. So it just depends on what area you're looking in. So definitely keep up the good work with that. I see some other goals you have.
Yes, so
Vendor
my
fair. Can you talk to
my
me about that?
brokerage that I work with, we are collaborating with Celebration Title, and we will be doing a vendor fair here in Miami, where basically, if you are a vendor, if you do anything with real estate or anything with properties, where it can be mowing grass, it can be roofing, it can be plumbing, anything that deals with like making a home better, we would love to have you there as a vendor. And that way you can meet new clients. You never know who you may see there. It could be a first time home buyer there. It could be an owner there. Anybody there that will be able to come in and you can get yourself some new clientele. So we would love to have anybody in the South Florida area to be able to sign up with us for our vendor fair and have a table there and just to show people your skill set.
Okay. So to go back to the $1 million listing, do you watch any of the
Yes,
shows like Selling Sunset, Selling Tampa? I'm
I
like
loved it.
glued to it. I just love
I would
watching it.
love to
I
be
love
in
all of
a
that. Yeah.
to be like a luxury selling real estate agent because there is a lot of money in that industry, and once you have your feet wet and once you have your network, it's always going to be money flowing in. And even if it's just one house that you sell, that one house could get you $80,000 in commission. And that could be your $80,000 that you put to the side to invest in your own property that you're going to buy, or that could be $80,000 to tie you off for the rest of the year. And then you can do your other, listings and sellings and things like that throughout the year. But that one sell can anchor you for the next year.
That's right. They make it look like it's just like we're missing out, and I'm just looking like, oh my gosh. I think I'm more entertained just by watching it, but just learning a little bit. Um, Also preparing to be a first time home buyer myself, so it's just a lot of things that you can just learn just from watching TV and all. And all right, and I see that you are a dog mom, and she
Yes, her name
turns
is
2. Well,
Willow.
she
She's
turned 2
right here
today.
trying
What's
to
her
get my
name?
attention.
Aw.
I've
Aw.
had
And
her
how
since
long
she
have
was
you had
four
her? Since
months.
birth
So
or?
I want to say going. I mean, yeah, almost 2 years that I've had her. But I've had her since she was about 4 or 5 months, and now she's 2, so she's a big girl now, and still crazy and running around and jumping everywhere. But she's my baby.
Oh, being a dog mom is the best. I have a Boston Terrier. He's 10 months. He'll be 1 in March. So he definitely keeps me busy, and I
Right?
just love being a dog mom, getting the clothes, and it's just a good feeling. And I just found out Ross
Yes,
has like a whole section for clothes. So
that's
I'm
literally me.
obsessed. I'm shopping for me. I'm shopping for him too. So I love it. I love it. All right. So this was fun. This is exciting. So just to recap, what we talked about, you getting into real estate, getting your start in 2021, 3 years experience as an active Florida realtor, 5 years in property management. Just talking about how it dates back to your youth, wanting to get started in this, and then um, talking about who or what inspires you, and talking about your family, that your grandmother who owned 2 properties, and just seeing that drive and how you were motivated. And then you talked about what's next for you in your career. So I'm excited to see everything unfold. I know you have more goals, more than what you've listed to work towards. And I just look forward to seeing more from
Yes.
you. And don't be a stranger. We would love to have you back on again, maybe in person. And good luck to you with
Thank you.
everything
Yes,
for the
I
remainder
can't
of
I
this
can't wait to do
year.
this again. This was really fun, and hopefully, yeah, I could come up there to Atlanta, or you could come to Miami and we could do an in-person interview. That'll be so fun.
Definitely. Great. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. This was episode 3 on Next Media Source, and this is your source for entertainment. Bye.